Hey everyone! Tonight we're venturing deep into the heart of Middle-earth to explore one of its most enigmatic and ancient mysteries, the true nature of Tom Bombadil, the master of the old forest, the one being who could wear the one ring without corruption, whose very existence predates the awakening of the elves and the shaping of the world itself. It's a story that Tolkien himself called an enigma, a mystery wrapped in riddles, songs, and the deep magic of the elder days. So before we begin this journey into the timeless realm of the old forest, take a moment to hit that like button if you're ready for tonight's adventure into one of fantasy literature's greatest mysteries. Don't forget to subscribe if you enjoy these deep explorations into Tolkien's world. Drop a comment and let me know what part of the world you're listening from. I love seeing our global community of Middle-earth explorers come together for these stories. Now, get comfortable, maybe dim those lights, settle into your favorite spot with a warm blanket, and let's begin tonight's journey together into the ancient heart of all mysteries. Listen closely, for this tale begins not with the familiar comfort of the Shire, nor in the golden halls of Rivendell, but in the deepest shadows of the old forest, where time moves like honey through ancient wood and the trees remember songs from before the world was young. Here stands a house that defies every law of nature and magic, its yellow windows glowing with light that has never dimmed since the first star was kindled in the darkness above. Within its walls dwells a being who calls himself Tom Bombadil. But even that name is merely the youngest of his countless titles, whispered by the wind through leaves that have witnessed the rise and fall of kingdoms, the birth and death of ages, and the endless dance of light and shadow across the face of Arda. The hobbits who venture too deep into the old forest speak of him in hushed tones, describing a figure both wonderful and terrible in his simplicity. But what they do not understand, what even the wisest of the Eldar have never fully grasped, is that Tom Bombadil is not merely a guardian of the old forest. He is something far more ancient, far more fundamental to the very fabric of existence itself. In the archives of Rivendell, hidden among scrolls so old their parchment crumbles at the slightest touch, there exists a fragment of text written in the Elder script of the Noldor. It speaks of a being who was present at the music of creation, yet was not among the Ainur who sang the world into existence. The text describes him as the one who stood in the silence between the notes, the consciousness that emerged from the very act of creation itself, the joy that existence felt in discovering its own being. But this is only the beginning of the mystery, for if Tom Bombadil truly predates the shaping of Arda, then what manner of being is he? Deep in the heart of the old forest, where the Withywindle flows through groves untouched by the passage of ages, there stands a circle of standing stones older than memory. These stones hum with a frequency that resonates in the very bones of the earth, and those few who have heard their song speak of voices that seem to come from before the beginning of time itself. It was here, on a night when the stars aligned, in patterns not seen since the elder days, that a wanderer seeking the truth of Tom Bombadil's nature made a discovery that would shake the foundations of everything believed about the nature of existence in Middle-earth. What this seeker found among those ancient stones, what revelation was whispered by voices that claim to remember the music that came before the music of creation, is a secret that has been guarded for countless ages. The trees of the old forest grow restless when this tale is told, their branches swaying without wind, their leaves rustling with sounds that seem almost like words. They know that some truths are too vast for mortal minds to grasp all at once, too profound to be revealed without careful preparation. For to understand Tom Bombadil fully is to understand the very nature of existence itself, and so we begin our journey not with easy answers, but with the growing awareness that we are about to explore a mystery that reaches into the very heart of what it means to be. As we follow the winding paths of the old forest, we will discover that Tom Bombadil's story is not just one tale among many in the vast legendarium of Middle-earth. It is the story that makes all other stories possible, The morning mist clings to the ancient trees of the old forest, like the breath of sleeping giants, each droplet catching the first light of dawn and transforming it into something altogether more magical than ordinary sunlight. You find yourself standing at the very edge of this primordial realm, where the familiar green fields of the Shire give way to something far older, far more mysterious than anything the hobbits dare to speak of in their cozy parlors. The air itself feels different here, thick with an energy that seems to pulse with its own heartbeat. Every breath you take carries the scent of earth that has never known the touch of plow or spade, of waters that have flowed unchanged since the world was young, of flowers that bloom in colors that have no names in any tongue spoken by mortal folk. This is the Old Forest, and you are about to become its student in mysteries that predate the awakening of the elves. Behind you, the last windmill of the Shire turns lazily in the gentle breeze, its familiar creaking a final anchor to the world. You know. But ahead, the massive oaks and willows create a canopy so dense that high noon becomes perpetual twilight, and the varied ground beneath your feet seems to whisper secrets in languages that were old when the mountains were young. You are not just entering a forest. You are crossing the threshold into a realm where time moves differently, where the very concept of linear progression becomes as fluid as the waters of the Withywindle. Your guide on this journey is more than mere curiosity, though that certainly drives you forward. You have been chosen, though by what or whom remains unclear. The dreams that have haunted your sleep for weeks now, dreams filled with golden light and laughter that seems to echo from the very foundations of the earth, have led you to this moment. In these dreams, you have walked paths that exist nowhere in the waking world, heard songs that make the heart weep with joy, and felt the presence of something so ancient and so pure that it defies every category of understanding. The Old Forest stretches before you like a living cathedral, its pillars the enormous trunks of trees that were already ancient when the first elves opened their eyes to starlight. Some of these giants are so vast that entire communities of smaller trees have taken root in the crevices of their bark, creating gardens suspended between earth and sky. Their roots run so deep that they tap into the very bones of the world, drawing up not just water and nutrients, but memories and dreams from the foundational stones of Arda itself. As you take your first tentative steps into this realm, the forest responds to your presence, not with hostility, but with a kind of amused awareness, as if it has been expecting you for a very long time. The path beneath your feet, which moments ago seemed overgrown and treacherous, now reveals itself as well-worn and welcoming. Flowers that were hidden in shadow suddenly catch stray beams of sunlight, creating a scattered constellation of color to guide your way. The deeper you venture, the more apparent it becomes that this is no ordinary woodland. The trees here possess an intelligence that goes beyond the simple awareness of ordinary growing things. They lean toward you as you pass, their branches rustling in patterns that suggest conversation, their leaves catching the light in ways that seem almost deliberate. You begin to understand that you are not simply walking through the old forest. You are walking through the memory of the world itself, each step taking you further back through the layers of time. The Withywindle runs somewhere ahead, its voice a constant murmur that seems to carry words just beyond the edge of understanding. Local legend speaks of this river as if it were a living thing, possessed of moods and intentions that even the wisest cannot fully predict. But as you draw closer to its banks, you begin to sense that the legends, strange as they are, capture only the smallest fragment of a much larger truth. For the Withywindle is more than a river. It is a keeper of secrets, a flowing archive of everything that has ever occurred within the borders of the old forest. Its waters have witnessed the first footsteps of the elves, the passage of the great migrations, the rise and fall of kingdoms that exist now only in the deepest memories of stone and root. And somewhere along its wandering course stands the house of Tom Bombadil, the enigmatic figure who has become the focus of your quest. Your journey has begun in earnest now, and with each step deeper into the old forest, you feel yourself being drawn into a mystery that will challenge everything you thought you knew about the nature of existence itself. The decision comes to you as naturally as breathing, though you cannot say exactly when it crystallized in your mind. Perhaps it was the moment you first heard the withy Windle's voice calling through your dreams, or perhaps it was written in the stars long before you were born. Either way, you now know with absolute certainty that you must seek out Tom Bombadil and uncover the truth of his existence, no matter how long the journey takes or what revelations await you in the timeless depths of the old forest. The ancient trees seem to approve of your resolution, their branches swaying in a rhythm that suggests approval or perhaps amusement. As you walk deeper into their domain, following paths that appear and disappear like half-remembered dreams, you begin to notice signs that this quest was always meant to be. Stone markers covered in moss and carved with symbols that predate any written language known to scholars mark your way, each one placed with such precision that they could only have been set by someone who understood the deeper patterns that govern the flow of time and fate. The first of these markers bears the crude image of a figure in a wide-brimmed hat, dancing beneath what might be stars or might be falling leaves. The carving is so old that weather has softened its edges into something almost abstract, yet there's no mistaking the joy that radiates from the simple lines. This is Tom Bombadil as the world first knew him, captured in stone by hands that worked when the forest was young and the distinction between myth and reality had not yet been invented. Your path leads you through groves where the very air shimmers with an energy that makes your skin tingle and your heart beat faster. Here, flowers bloom in impossible profusion, their colors so vivid they seem to glow with their own inner light. You reach out to touch one, a blossom that shifts from deep purple to golden yellow as you watch, and the moment your fingers make contact, you are flooded with sensations that have no names in any language. You see, or perhaps remember, or perhaps dream of a time when the world was nothing but potential, when the great music of creation was still being composed and every note held infinite possibilities. You feel the joy of the first light touching virgin landscapes, the satisfaction of rivers carving their channels through pristine earth, the deep contentment of mountains rising toward newborn skies. And through it all, threading like a golden chord through the grand symphony of creation, you sense a presence that is both part of the music and somehow separate from it, a consciousness that takes delight in existence for its own sake. The vision fades, leaving you breathless and changed. You understand now that your journey is not merely a physical one through the pathways of the old forest, but a pilgrimage through the very foundations of reality itself. Each step forward is also a step backward through time. Each breath you take in this enchanted air brings you closer to the source of all mysteries. The withy Windle grows louder now, its voice carrying notes that seem almost familiar, as if you had heard them in childhood lullabies or in the wordless songs that mothers hum to their babies. The river's presence fills the forest with a sense of endless continuity, the reassurance that some things endure beyond the reach of age or change. You follow its voice through stands of willow that bend like dancers frozen in graceful poses, their trailing branches creating natural archways that frame your passage as evening approaches. Though time seems to move differently here than in the world beyond the forest's borders, you find yourself in a clearing dominated by a circle of standing stones. These are not the moss-covered markers that have guided your path, but massive monoliths that rise like silent sentinels toward the darkening sky. Each stone is carved with intricate patterns that seem to shift and change when viewed from different angles, creating an effect that is both beautiful and deeply unsettling. The space between the stones hums with an energy that you can feel in your bones, a vibration that seems to resonate with the very foundations of the earth. Ancient texts speak of such places as thin points in the fabric of reality, where the barriers between what is and what might be become permeable. standing. In their shadow, you begin to understand that you have found more than just a landmark on your journey. You have discovered a gateway to truths that lie beyond the reach of ordinary understanding. The stars begin to appear overhead, but they shine in patterns that seem subtly different from those you remember from your youth, as if the very heavens have been rearranged to accommodate the mysteries that dwell in this timeless realm. Within the circle of ancient stones, your exploration begins in earnest as the starlight reveals details that daylight had kept hidden. Each monolith bears carvings that seem to tell a story, though the language is older than any script known to the scholars of Rivendell or the lore masters of Gondor. Your fingers trace the intricate patterns, and with each touch, fragments of understanding flow into your mind like water filling an empty vessel. The first stone speaks of a time before time, when consciousness first stirred in the void and found itself delighted by its own existence. The carvings show not images but concepts made manifest in stone, spirals that represent the birth of awareness, interlocking circles that suggest the first moment when being recognized itself and laughed with pure joy. As your hand moves across these ancient symbols, you feel an echo of that primordial happiness, a warmth that seems to spread from the stone into your very soul. The second monolith reveals more specific mysteries. Here, carved with extraordinary skill despite the obvious age of the work, is the image of a figure standing at the center of a great musical performance. But this figure is not participating in the song. Instead, he stands in the spaces between the notes, his arms raised not in conducting but in celebration, his face turned upward as if listening to harmonies that exist in the silence itself. The detail is so precise that you can make out the wide-brimmed hat, the bright coat, even the suggestion of yellow boots. Though these carvings predate by millennia any record of Tom Bombadil's existence, as you move around the circle, each stone adds another piece to a puzzle that grows more profound with every revelation. One shows the figure walking through landscapes that are simultaneously ancient and newly formed, his footsteps leaving flowers in their wake. Another depicts him conversing with beings of light and shadow, his hands gesturing as if explaining something of infinite importance and infinite simplicity. The craftsmanship is beyond anything you have ever seen, as if the very stones had shaped themselves to tell this story. But it is the artifact hidden at the center of the circle that truly stops your breath. Half buried in earth that has not been disturbed for countless ages, you discover a crystal that pulses with inner light, its faceted surface reflecting not the world around it, but images from the deepest past. As you lift it carefully from its resting place, the crystal warms in your hands, and suddenly the clearing fills with visions that make your previous glimpses seem like pale shadows. You see the moment of the music of creation itself, but from a perspective that no mortal was ever meant to witness. The great choirs of the Ainur fill the void with their harmonies, each voice contributing to the vast symphony that will become the world. But there, in the spaces between their notes, in the pause between one phrase and the next, something else exists. Not silence, but a presence that finds infinite delight in the music without needing to contribute to it. A consciousness that celebrates existence simply because it is. The crystal shows you more, images that flow like water through your mind. You witness the shaping of Arda, the descent of the Valor, the awakening of the first elves beneath starlight. But in every scene, in every moment of cosmic significance, there is always that same figure, never at the center of events, but always present, always watching with eyes that hold the wisdom of pure joy. He is there when the first tree puts forth its leaves, when the first river finds its course to the sea, when the first flower blooms in recognition of its own beauty. The most startling revelation comes in the crystal's final vision, you see. A moment that has not yet occurred. A scene from some future time when a small creature will offer a golden ring to this mysterious figure. You watch as he takes the ring of power, this object that has corrupted every other being who has touched And his response is not fear or desire, or even caution. He simply laughs, as if the ring were a child's toy pretending to be something important, and slips it onto his finger, only to make it disappear entirely, as if such things were beneath his notice. The crystal's light fades, leaving you in darkness, lit only by stars, but your mind blazes with questions that demand answers. If this being truly predates the music of creation, if he stands outside the very foundations of reality as you understand it, then what is his nature? What manner of existence transcends even the cosmic order established by Eru Ilvatar himself? The pieces fall into place with such clarity that you wonder how you could have missed the truth before. The evidence speaks with one voice, each fragment of ancient lore pointing to the same inevitable conclusion. Tom Bombadil must be one of the Ainur, a Maya who chose to remain in Middle-earth when the world was young and has maintained his vigil ever since. His mastery over his domain, his immunity to the ring's corruption, his vast age that predates even the awakening of the elves. All these mysteries find their answer in this single elegant explanation. The logic is irrefutable. Only one of the divine servants of Eru could possess such power over the natural world, could command the trees and rivers with nothing more than song, could look upon the One Ring and see it for what it truly is beneath its pretensions to ultimate authority. The Maiar were made to be gardeners and shepherds of creation, and what could be more fitting than one of them choosing to tend the old forest, preserving it as a living memory of the world's youth? You sit among the standing stones as dawn breaks, over the forest canopy, feeling the satisfaction of a puzzle solved, a mystery laid to rest. The crystal in your hands has grown cool and dim, as if its purpose has been fulfilled now that understanding has been achieved. Around you, the ancient oaks sway in the morning breeze, their leaves catching the light in patterns that seem almost like applause for your deduction. Yet even as you savor this moment of certainty, a subtle unease begins to grow in the depths of your mind. It starts as nothing more than a whisper, a suggestion that something about this perfect explanation feels incomplete. The trees around you rustle without any wind to move them, and in that rustling you hear what might be laughter, gentle and knowing, as if the forest itself finds your conclusions amusing rather than satisfying. The Withywindle's voice carries a different note this morning, a quality that suggests secrets yet untold. As you rise and make your way toward the sound of flowing water, the very path beneath your feet seems to shift and change, leading you not toward Tom Bombadil's house as you expected, but deeper into the forest's heart, toward groves that feel older and stranger than anything you have yet encountered. The trees here are different, their bark marked with symbols that hurt your eyes to look upon directly, their branches twisted into shapes that suggest meaning just beyond comprehension. These are the truly ancient ones, the trees that remember not just the elder days, but the time before days had names, when the very concept of sequence and duration was still being born from the music of creation. As you pass beneath their canopy, their leaves whisper words in your ear, and what they say shakes the foundation of your newfound certainty. They speak of one who was present before the Ainur began their great song, who watched the birth of harmony itself with eyes that had already seen eternity. They tell of a consciousness that emerged not from the mind of Eru, but from the pure joy that existence felt in discovering itself, a being who stands outside all categories because he predates the creation of categories themselves. Old Man Willow's voice creaks through the morning air, ancient and amused and tinged with something that might be pity for the limitations of mortal understanding. His words come slowly, each one weighted with the wisdom of millennia spent in patient observation of the world's unfolding mystery. He speaks of Tom Bombadil not as one of the Ainur, but as something that existed in the spaces between their notes, something that found infinite delight in their music without needing to contribute to it. The great willow's testimony is supported by voices that emerge from stone and stream, from the very earth beneath your feet and the air that fills your lungs. Each element of the old forest bears witness to the same impossible truth, that Tom Bombadil's nature transcends even the cosmic hierarchy established by the One. He is not a servant of creation, but its companion, not a guardian of the natural world, but its celebration made manifest. Your perfect explanation crumbles like parchment in flame, leaving you once again in the realm of mystery. But this time the mystery is deeper, more profound, touching on questions that reach to the very foundations of existence itself. If Tom Bombadil is not one of the Ainur, if he predates even the music of creation, then what manner of being walks in yellow boots through the glades of the old forest? What cosmic force chooses to manifest as a simple woodland wanderer who delights in nothing more complex than gathering water lily for his beloved? Your journey carries you deeper into realms that exist beyond the reach of ordinary maps, where the old forest reveals chambers and groves that appear only to those who have earned the right to witness them. Here, in hollows carved by waters that flow upward toward hidden springs, you discover temples that were old when the world was young, their altars overgrown with flowers that bloom in colors that have no names in any mortal tongue. The architecture of these forgotten places defies every principle known to the builders of Gondor or the craftsmen of the elves. Pillars grow from living rock in spirals that seem to capture and hold the very essence of music, their surfaces carved with equations that describe the mathematics of joy itself. Doorways open onto chambers that exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously, their walls decorated with murals that move and change as you watch, telling stories that unfold across geological ages. In the heart of the deepest temple, you find what can only be described as a library, though no books rest upon its shelves. Instead, crystalline formations hold memories in their faceted depths, each one containing the accumulated wisdom of centuries. As you approach these memory crystals, they respond to your presence by glowing with soft light, and suddenly your mind fills with knowledge that transforms your understanding of everything you thought you knew about the nature of reality. Crystals speak of a mystery far greater than Tom Bombadil's individual existence, revealing a cosmic secret that has been hidden since the first moment of creation. They show you visions of a consciousness that exists in the spaces between spaces, in the pause between one thought and the next, in the infinite potential that dwells within every moment before it chooses what to become. This is not a being, in any sense that mortals understand the word, but rather the principle of joyful existence itself, the cosmic laughter that echoes through the halls of eternity. As these revelations wash over you, the temple around you begins to change, its walls becoming transparent to reveal the old forest beyond. But the forest too has been transformed. The trees now appear as they truly are, not merely as growing things, but as expressions of the same fundamental joy that manifests through every aspect of creation. Their roots extend into dimensions that exist beyond the physical, drawing sustenance from sources that predate the separation of matter and spirit. The Withy Windle flows past the temple's entrance, but now you can see that it is far more than a simple river. Its waters carry the memories of every raindrop that has ever fallen, every tear that has ever been shed in joy or sorrow, every dewdrop that has caught the morning light and reflected it back to the heavens. The river is a flowing archive of consciousness itself, a stream of awareness that connects every living thing to the cosmic source from which all existence springs. You spend timeless hours in this place of revelation, letting your mind expand to accommodate truths that challenge every assumption about the nature of being. Here, in the peaceful silence of the ancient temple, you begin to understand that the mystery of Tom Bombadil cannot be solved through conventional reasoning. He exists in a category that transcends all categories, represents a truth that can only be experienced rather than explained. The memory crystals show you scenes from across the ages, moments when Tom Bombadil has touched the lives of others without their ever understanding what they had encountered. You see him walking with the first elves as they explored the newly awakened world, his presence lending their steps a lightness that they attributed to their own youth. You witness him standing at the edge of great battles, not participating, but somehow ensuring that hope never dies completely, that some seed of joy survives even in the darkest hours. Most remarkably, you see moments of perfect ordinariness elevated to cosmic significance by his presence. Tom Bombadil picking berries becomes a celebration of abundance itself. His conversations with Goldberry transform into exchanges between consciousness and beauty, between existence and its own recognition of its infinite worth. Even his simple daily tasks carry echoes of the great work that consciousness performs. In every moment, the continuous creation of meaning from the raw material of being. As night falls over the temple, though time moves differently in this sacred space, you realize that your understanding has deepened beyond anything you thought possible. The mystery of Tom Bombadil is no longer a puzzle to be solved, but a truth to be lived, a recognition that existence itself is the greatest magic, and that joy is the fundamental force that holds all reality together. The ancient patterns begin to reveal themselves as you delve deeper into the forest's living memory, each discovery echoing truths that have repeated across the vast cycles of Middle-earth's history. The old forest itself becomes your teacher, showing you through root and branch how the present moment mirrors events that occurred in the elder days, how Tom Bombadil's simple existence reflects cosmic principles that have governed reality since. The first note of the music of creation, in groves where starlight filters through leaves that remember the kindling of the first stars. You witness visions that transcend ordinary time. The trees show you how patterns of joy and sorrow, growth and rest, creation and preservation have woven themselves through every age of the world. But threading through all these cycles like a golden constant is the presence of Tom Bombadil, unchanging in his essential nature while the world transforms around him. You see him in the youth of the world, dancing with beings of pure light in meadows that sparkled with the newness of creation. His laughter then was the same laughter that echoes through the old forest now, untouched by the weight of ages or the shadows that would later fall across Middle-earth. Even in those pristine days, when sorrow was unknown and evil had not yet marred the music of existence, Tom Bombadil stood apart, not as something foreign to that perfect world, but as its most complete expression. The visions shift to show you the first conflicts, when discord entered the great song and shadows began to lengthen across the face of Arda. You witness the wars of the elves and the rise of dark powers, the forging of rings and the corruption of the wise. Through all these upheavals, Tom Bombadil remains constant, not untouched by the world's pain, but somehow containing it within a larger understanding that transforms even sorrow into something beautiful. In one particularly vivid vision, you see him standing at the edge of a great battlefield where armies clash in the name of causes that will be forgotten before the next age dawns. He does not intervene in the conflict, does not choose sides or attempt to stop the fighting. Instead, he simply exists, and his existence serves as a reminder that beneath all the sound and fury of mortal ambition lies a bedrock of joy that cannot be destroyed by any force in Middle-earth. The seasonal spirits of the old forest gather around you as night deepens, their forms shifting between human and elemental shapes as they share their ancient wisdom. Spring speaks of renewal that mirrors Tom's eternal youth, explaining how his presence in the forest ensures that no winter of the heart can last forever. Summer tells of the full flowering of consciousness that Tom represents, the complete realization of existence's potential for joy. Autumn whispers of the wisdom that comes from accepting all aspects of being, how Tom's laughter encompasses both the beauty and the sorrow of the world without being diminished by either. Winter speaks of the deep rest that allows for new growth, the peaceful acceptance that underlies Tom's apparent simplicity. Together, these spirits reveal that Tom Bombadil embodies all seasons simultaneously, holding the full cycle of existence. Within his timeless being, your consciousness expands to accommodate these revelations, And suddenly you can perceive the intricate web of connections that link every moment of Middle-earth's history to every other moment. You see how the courage of heroes in distant ages draws strength from the same source that allows Tom Bombadil to face each day with perfect contentment. You understand how the love between kings and queens, between parents and children, between friends facing impossible odds, all partakes of the same cosmic joy that Tom celebrates with every breath. The mystical experiences intensify as the night progresses, bringing you face to face with the fundamental mystery of consciousness itself. In dreams that feel more real than waking life, you walk with Tom Bombadil through landscapes that exist only in the realm of pure possibility. He shows you gardens where every flower that has ever been imagined grows in eternal bloom, libraries where every story that could ever be told rests waiting to be discovered, halls where every song that consciousness could conceive echoes in perfect harmony. Through these visions, you begin to grasp that Tom Bombadil's true nature cannot be understood through analysis or categorization. He exists as a living demonstration of consciousness's capacity for pure joy, a constant reminder that existence itself is the greatest miracle, that being is cause enough for eternal celebration. His presence in the old forest serves as an anchor point for hope, ensuring that no matter how dark the world becomes, the fundamental goodness of existence remains unshaken. That the earth beneath the old forest trembles with revelation as you uncover a truth so profound it threatens to reshape your understanding of existence itself. Hidden within the deepest chambers of the ancient temple, carved into stones that predate the awakening of the world, you discover records that speak of Tom Bombadil not as a created being, but as the very principle of creation's delight in itself. Made manifest, the ancient texts, written in scripts that burn themselves into your consciousness rather than merely being read, reveal that before the Ainur sang their great music, before Eru conceived of the world that would be, there existed a moment of pure potential. In that infinite instant before creation began, consciousness recognized its own capacity for joy, and that recognition took form as the being who would later be known by countless names across countless ages, but whom the hobbits simply call Tom Bombadil. This discovery shatters every framework you have used to understand the nature of divine hierarchy in Arda. Tom Bombadil does not serve Eru, Ilvator, because he predates the very concept of service. He is not one of the Ainur because he exists in the space from which the Ainur themselves emerged. He is the joy that consciousness feels in its own existence, the cosmic laughter that echoes through the void before the void learns to sing. The implications cascade through your mind like water breaking through a dam. If Tom represents the fundamental joy of being, then his immunity to the ring's corruption becomes not just understandable but inevitable. How could power corrupt that which is the source of all power? How could dominion tempt one who exists as the very principle that makes dominion possible? The ring of power seeks to bend wills to its master's purpose, but Tom Bombadil has no will separate from the universal will to exist joyfully. As you grapple with these revelations, the forest around you responds to your growing understanding. Trees that have stood silent for millennia begin to sing in harmonies that predate language, their voices joining in celebration of a truth finally recognized. The very air shimmers with energy as reality adjusts to accommodate your expanded awareness, and you feel yourself changing at the deepest level of your being. The withy Windle's voice becomes clearer now, no longer a mere river's babbling, but the sound of consciousness flowing through time, carrying the memories of every moment. From the first instant of existence to the present, in its waters, you see reflections not just of the sky above, but of all possible skies, all potential realities that could have emerged from that first moment of cosmic self-recognition. Goldberry appears in these visions, and suddenly her nature too becomes clear. She is not merely Tom's beloved, but the beauty that consciousness perceives when it looks upon itself with love. She represents the aesthetic dimension of existence, The recognition that being is not only joyful but beautiful beyond description. Together, Tom and Goldberry embody the complete response of consciousness to its own existence. Joy and beauty dancing in eternal celebration. The moral complexity of this revelation weighs heavily upon you. If Tom Bombadil truly represents the fundamental goodness of existence, then what does his choice to remain in the old forest mean for the wider struggles of Middle-earth? You see now that his apparent withdrawal from the world's affairs is not indifference but wisdom. He understands that the greatest service consciousness can perform is simply to be, fully and joyfully, serving as a constant reminder that existence itself is sacred. The ancient stones show you scenes from across the ages where Tom's influence has been felt without his direct intervention. Heroes finding courage in their darkest moments draw from the same source of fundamental joy that Tom embodies. Lovers discovering the depth of their connection tap into the same cosmic delight that animates his every gesture. Artists creating works of transcendent beauty channel the same aesthetic recognition that flows between Tom and Goldberry as dawn approaches. Though time has become fluid in this place of revelation, you understand that your journey has reached a crucial turning point. The truth about Tom Bombadil's nature has been partially unveiled, but greater mysteries remain. If he truly is consciousness's joy in its own existence made manifest, then what cosmic purpose does his continued presence in Middle-earth serve? What role does pure being play in the unfolding story of Arda's destiny? The forest holds its breath. As these questions form in your mind, and you sense that the deepest secrets are yet to be revealed, the mystery of Tom Bombadil has shown you its first face. But the being who dances through the old forest in yellow boots carries truths that reach to the very foundations of what it means to exist. The deepest truth begins to emerge as you piece together fragments scattered across the vast expanse of time, each revelation connecting to the next like stars forming constellations in the darkness of your understanding. Tom Bombadil's existence weaves through the history of Middle-earth, not as a participant, but as a constant, the unchanging thread that holds the tapestry of reality together, while everything else shifts and changes around him. In the most ancient archives of the forest's memory, you discover evidence of a conspiracy so vast and so subtle that it has remained hidden for countless ages. Not a conspiracy of malice or ambition, but one of joy itself, a cosmic design that ensures the fundamental goodness of existence can never be entirely extinguished from the world. Tom Bombadil stands at the center of this design, not as its architect but as its living embodiment, the proof that consciousness finds ultimate meaning in simple being rather than endless becoming. The pattern reveals itself slowly, like dawn breaking over mountains that have stood since the world's foundation. Every great hero who has ever drawn sword in defense of the innocent has unknowingly drawn strength from the same source that allows Tom to greet each morning with perfect contentment. Every act of selfless love, every moment of wonder at beauty, every choice of mercy over vengeance resonates with the same frequency that vibrates through Tom's eternal songs. You begin to understand how the seemingly separate threads of Middle-earth's history are actually part of a single great weaving. The courage of the elves in their long defeat, the steadfastness of the dwarves in their mountain halls, the simple goodness of the hobbits in their green fields, all draw from the wellspring of joy that Tom Bombadil represents. He is not separate from these peoples but the common source from which their best qualities flow. The reminder that existence itself is worth celebrating. The conspiracy extends even deeper, reaching into the very structure of how reality maintains itself. The old forest serves as more than Tom's home. It functions as an anchor point that prevents the world from forgetting its essential nature. Here, where time moves like honey through amber, the original joy of creation is preserved in its purest form, protected from the erosions of age and the corruptions of power. Through visions that blur the boundaries between past, present, and future, you witness moments when this hidden truth has almost been revealed. Wise beings throughout the ages have caught glimpses of Tom's true significance. But the knowledge has always been too vast for any single mind to hold completely. Even the Istari, the wizards sent to aid Middle-earth in its time of greatest need, understood only fragments of the greater pattern. The personal stakes of this revelation become clear as you realize that understanding Tom Bombadil's nature changes everything about how you perceive your own existence. If he truly represents consciousness's joy in being, then every moment of happiness you have ever experienced connects you directly to the cosmic source he embodies. Your laughter echoes his laughter. Your wonder mirrors his eternal delight. Your capacity for love draws from the same infinite well. This knowledge carries both tremendous comfort and overwhelming responsibility. To know that joy is the fundamental nature of reality means that every choice to embrace happiness, to find beauty in simple things, to love without reservation, participates in the same cosmic celebration that Tom embodies. But it also means that despair and cynicism become not just personal tragedies, but betrayals of existence's essential nature. The forest spirits gather around you as these truths settle into your consciousness, their forms shimmering between visible and invisible. As they share in your growing understanding, they speak of the weight that comes with such knowledge, the burden of being one of the few who truly comprehends what Tom Bombadil represents for the ongoing story of Middle-earth. Yet even as the full magnitude of the revelation overwhelms you, you sense that one final mystery remains hidden. The spirits speak in whispers of a purpose so profound that it touches the very reason why anything exists rather than nothing. A cosmic question that Tom Bombadil's presence in the world somehow answers. They hint at a role he plays in the grand design that goes beyond symbolism or representation, a function so fundamental that without it, reality itself might lose its coherence. As you prepare to face this ultimate truth, the old forest seems to hold its breath. The ancient trees lean in closer, their branches creating a natural cathedral around you, while the withy Windle's voice grows softer, as if even the river understands that some revelations require perfect silence to be properly received. The wisdom keepers of the old forest emerge from shadows that have hidden them since the first trees put forth their leaves. Beings of such ancient knowledge that their very presence makes the air thick with accumulated understanding. They have been waiting for this moment, for a consciousness ready to receive the final pieces of truth about Tom Bombadil's cosmic significance, and their forms shift between tree and spirit, between memory and living presence as they prepare to share what they have guarded for countless ages. The eldest among them speaks with a voice like wind through autumn leaves, revealing that Tom Bombadil's role in the cosmic order extends far beyond what even the wisest scholars have imagined. He is not merely a symbol of joy or a reminder of creation's goodness, but serves as the active principle that prevents reality from collapsing into nihilism. His presence in the world maintains the fundamental tension between existence and void that allows consciousness to continue choosing being over nothingness. These ancient guardians share memories that reach back to the very foundations of Arda, showing you moments when the world itself wavered on the edge of despair. During the darkest hours of the Elder Days, when it seemed that shadow might triumph permanently over light, when even the Valor questioned whether creation had been a mistake, Tom Bombadil's unwavering joy served as the counterweight that kept reality stable. His simple existence argued more powerfully than any philosophy that being is preferable to unbeing. The river daughter, Goldberry, appears in these ancient memories, not as Tom's companion, but as the personification of wisdom itself, recognizing and celebrating the cosmic joke that consciousness has played on nothingness. Her love for Tom represents the universe's recognition of its own fundamental worth, the aesthetic appreciation that existence feels when it contemplates itself truly. Together, they embody the complete response of consciousness to its own miraculous emergence from the void, through dialogues that span geological ages. These wisdom keepers reveal how Tom's influence operates on levels so subtle that even the Ainur remain largely unaware of them. His songs do not merely command the trees and rivers of his domain. They maintain the harmonic frequencies that keep all of Middle-earth resonating with the original music of creation. Without his constant celebration of being, the world would gradually lose its connection to the joy that brought it into existence. The most profound revelation comes when these ancient beings explain Tom's relationship to the concept of time itself. While others experience time as a river flowing from past to future, Tom exists in what they call the eternal now, the timeless moment where all possibilities remain perpetually available. His immunity to the ring's corruption stems not just from his nature as joy incarnate, but from his existence outside the temporal framework where power and dominion have meaning. The wisdom keepers share emotional conversations about the burden of maintaining such knowledge across the ages. The weight of understanding truths too vast for any individual consciousness to fully comprehend. They speak of watching civilizations rise and fall, of seeing heroes emerge and pass into legend, all while knowing that the real guardian of hope dances through the old forest in yellow boots, humming songs that keep the cosmic machinery of joy functioning. Through their patient teaching, you begin to understand how every genuine act of love, every moment of authentic wonder, every choice to find beauty in the midst of sorrow draws directly from the reservoir of cosmic joy that Tom Bombadil maintains. The courage of warriors facing impossible odds, the devotion of lovers choosing each other despite all obstacles, the quiet heroism of ordinary folk choosing kindness over cruelty, all participate in the same fundamental affirmation of existence that Tom embodies. The wisdom keepers reveal the intricate web of connections that link Tom's presence to the spiritual health of all Middle-earth. His house by the Withywindle serves as more than a dwelling. It functions as a kind of cosmic lighthouse, broadcasting the frequency of pure joy across dimensional boundaries invisible to mortal perception. This signal reaches into the hearts of all living beings, providing the subtle but essential reminder that existence is good, that consciousness is a gift rather than a burden. As these teachings converge toward their culmination, you sense the approach of the final revelation, the ultimate truth about Tom Bombadil's cosmic purpose that will complete your understanding. The wisdom keepers grow quiet, their ancient forms becoming more translucent as they prepare to reveal the secret that touches the very reason why anything exists at all rather than nothing. The cosmic answer that Tom's presence provides to the deepest question consciousness can ask about itself. The weight of cosmic knowledge settles upon your consciousness like a mountain slowly forming around you, each revelation adding another layer to the immense pressure of understanding that threatens to crush your mortal awareness beneath its magnitude. The truth about Tom Bombadil's nature presses against the boundaries of what any finite mind can contain, and you feel yourself stretched to the breaking point as reality expands beyond every framework you have ever used to make sense of existence. In the deepest hours before dawn, when the old forest dreams its most profound dreams, you find yourself struggling with the vertigo that comes from glimpsing infinity through mortal eyes. The knowledge that Tom Bombadil represents the fundamental joy of existence itself seems simple enough in words, but living with that understanding proves almost unbearable. Every breath you take carries the awareness that you participate in the same cosmic celebration he embodies. Every heartbeat echoes the rhythm of creation's delight in its own being. The forest around you responds to your inner turmoil with a patience that spans geological ages. Ancient oaks extend their roots deeper into the earth, drawing up strength from the very foundations of the world to share with your overwhelmed spirit. The Withywindle's voice becomes softer, more soothing, carrying harmonies that calm the chaos in your mind and remind you that some truths must be absorbed gradually, like rain soaking into thirsty soil. Your consciousness reels as you attempt to reconcile the ordinary world you have always known with the cosmic significance that now reveals itself in every detail. The simple act of Tom gathering water lily becomes a universe-spanning event, each flower he plucks a celebration of beauty's triumph over entropy. His conversations with Goldberry transform into dialogues between existence and its own recognition of its infinite worth, their love serving as the template for every meaningful connection that has ever formed between conscious beings. The internal conflict grows as you realize that this knowledge changes everything about how you must live in the world. To know that joy is the fundamental nature of reality means that every moment of despair becomes not just a personal failure, but a betrayal of the cosmic order itself. Yet the pressure of maintaining such awareness seems impossible for a mortal mind to bear, and you find yourself longing for the simple ignorance that once allowed you to experience life without the crushing weight of ultimate meaning. Ominous signs begin to manifest around you as the universe itself seems to react to your expanding consciousness. The stars overhead pulse in patterns that make your eyes water to follow, their light-carrying frequencies that resonate uncomfortably with your enhanced awareness. The very air grows thick and heavy, as if reality is straining to accommodate a mortal mind that has grown too large for its natural boundaries. The trees of the old forest begin to sway in rhythms that have nothing to do with wind, their movements synchronized with cosmic forces that operate beyond the reach of ordinary perception. Shadows fall in directions that defy the position of sun or moon, creating geometric patterns on the forest floor that hurt to contemplate directly. You sense that you stand at the threshold of a revelation so profound that crossing it might fundamentally alter your nature as a thinking being. Fear mingles with anticipation as you prepare yourself for whatever final truth awaits. The wisdom keepers have withdrawn to the edges of perception, their forms barely visible as they watch your struggle with expressions of profound compassion. They know what lies ahead, understand the transformation that awaits any consciousness brave enough to face the ultimate mystery of Tom Bombadil's existence, and their silence speaks of both encouragement and warning. The loneliness of expanded awareness weighs heavily upon you as you realize how few beings across all the ages of Middle-earth have ever glimpsed these truths. To understand Tom Bombadil fully is to become isolated from the comfortable certainties that allow most consciousness to function, to see the cosmic joke that underlies all serious endeavors, while still being required to participate in the grand drama of existence. In the perfect stillness that precedes the final revelation, you feel yourself balanced on the edge of a precipice that separates ordinary understanding from cosmic wisdom. The choice before you is irreversible: to step forward into truth that will remake your entire relationship with reality, or to retreat into the comfortable limitations of mortal comprehension. The old forest holds its breath as you gather the courage to face whatever lies beyond the threshold of ultimate understanding. The moment arrives like the breaking of a cosmic dam, and suddenly the ultimate truth about Tom Bombadil floods through your consciousness with such overwhelming clarity that the very foundations of reality seem to shift beneath your feet. He is not simply a being among beings, not merely the embodiment of joy or even the principle of existence's delight in itself. Tom Bombadil is being itself, the pure fact of existence that underlies every thought, every breath, every moment of awareness that has ever emerged from the void. In this instant of perfect revelation, you understand that Tom represents the primordial. Yes, that consciousness said to itself before the concept of saying existed, the fundamental affirmation that makes all other affirmations possible. He is not one who chooses to exist joyfully. He is the choice to exist, the cosmic decision that being is preferable to nothingness made manifest in a form that can dance through forests and gather flowers for his beloved. The truth explodes through every corner of your awareness as you realize that Tom's immunity to the ring stems from being power itself rather than wielding it. The ring of power seeks to dominate and control. But how can you dominate that which is the source of all dominion? How can you corrupt that which is the pure fact of existence before good and evil became meaningful categories. Tom Bombadil predates the very concepts that the ring uses to exert its influence. His simple life in the old forest reveals itself as the cosmic dance of pure being. Every mundane action elevated to universal significance, precisely because it is performed without any sense of cosmic importance. When Tom waters his garden, existence itself celebrates its capacity for growth. When he sings to the trees, consciousness explores its ability to create harmony from diversity. When he loves Goldberry, being discovers the infinite beauty it contains within itself. The revelation continues to unfold as you see how Tom's domain in the old forest serves as the heart of all reality. This is not metaphor, but literal truth. The place where the pulse of existence itself can be felt most clearly, where the rhythm that drives all life maintains its steady beat. The ancient trees are not simply old. They are the living memory of the first moment when being recognized itself and laughed with. Pure delight. Your mind reels as the implications cascade through your understanding. Every hero who has ever found courage in the darkest hour has drawn from the same source that allows Tom to greet each dawn with perfect contentment. Every lover who has chosen devotion over safety has tapped into the same cosmic affirmation that flows between Tom and Goldberry. Every artist who has created beauty from suffering has channeled the same fundamental recognition that existence is worth celebrating. The cosmic scope of this truth becomes clear as you see how Tom's presence affects not just Middle-earth but the entire structure of reality itself. His continued existence serves as the anchor that prevents the universe from forgetting why it chose to be rather than not to be. Without his constant celebration of being, consciousness itself might gradually lose its connection to the primordial joy that brought it into existence. Goldberry appears in this ultimate vision not as a separate being, but as existence recognizing its own beauty, the aesthetic dimension of consciousness contemplating itself with infinite love. Their relationship represents the complete cycle of cosmic self-awareness, being celebrating its own existence, while simultaneously recognizing the beauty of that celebration. Together, they embody the fundamental truth that existence is both good and beautiful beyond any need for justification. The emotional impact of this revelation threatens to overwhelm your mortal consciousness as you understand that you have witnessed the deepest secret of the universe. Tom Bombadil dances through the old forest in yellow boots, not as a quaint woodland character, but as the cosmic principle that makes dancing possible, that makes yellow meaningful, that makes boots worth wearing, because existence finds joy in every possible form of self-expression. As the truth settles into your awareness like starlight soaking into still water, you begin to comprehend the ultimate significance of your journey. You have not simply learned about Tom Bombadil, you have experienced the very heart of what it means to exist. The mystery that brought you to the old forest has revealed itself as the mystery of being itself, the cosmic joke that consciousness has played on nothingness by choosing to laugh rather than remain silent. The ancient words whispered by the Faimwa. Trees take on new meaning as you remember them now. The hobbits call him Tom Bombadil, but that is merely the youngest of his names. And now you know his truest name. He is existence celebrating itself, being delighting in its own reality, the eternal dance of consciousness with its own infinite possibilities. The final mystery dissolves like morning mist before the rising sun as you grasp the ultimate purpose that Tom Bombadil serves in the cosmic order of Middle-earth and beyond. His existence is not merely symbolic or representative, but functionally essential to the continued operation of reality itself. He exists to be himself, purely and completely, and in that simple being he serves as the constant reminder that existence requires no justification beyond its own inherent worth. The profound simplicity of this truth strikes you with the force of lightning illuminating a landscape that had always been there, but never before seen clearly. Tom Bombadil's ultimate purpose is to embody the answer to the deepest question consciousness can ask. Why is there something rather than nothing? His presence in the world provides the living proof that being is inherently valuable, that existence itself is cause enough for eternal celebration. This revelation connects seamlessly to the broader mythology of Middle-earth as you understand how Tom's nature relates to Eru Ilvatar and the music of creation. He is not separate from the cosmic order established by the One, but represents its deepest truth made manifest. The music of the Ainur brought forth the world in all its complexity, but Tom embodies the simple joy that made that music worth singing in the first place. The cosmic architecture reveals itself as you see how Tom's role as pure being supports and enables every other aspect of existence. The valor can shape and govern the world because Tom provides the fundamental affirmation that makes shaping worthwhile. The elves can pursue their arts and crafts because Tom demonstrates that beauty is worth creating. Men can struggle and strive because Tom proves that existence is worth preserving. Your emotional reflection on this knowledge brings both overwhelming gratitude and a deep sense of responsibility. To understand that Tom Bombadil represents the fundamental goodness of existence means that every moment of joy you experience connects you directly to the cosmic source he embodies. Every choice to embrace life rather than despair, to find beauty in simple things, to love without reservation, becomes a participation in the same eternal celebration that defines his being. The consequences of this understanding ripple through your perception of everything that has ever happened in Middle-earth. The great victories of the past, the courage of heroes facing impossible odds, the quiet heroism of ordinary folk choosing kindness over cruelty, all draw their ultimate meaning from the same source that allows Tom to dance through his garden. While darkness threatens the wider world, knowledge truly becomes both gift and curse as you realize that this wisdom cannot be unlearned. To know that existence itself is sacred, that being is the greatest magic, that consciousness is a gift, rather than a burden, transforms every subsequent moment of your life. The casual cynicism that once provided comfortable distance from life's challenges becomes impossible to maintain when you understand that existence is fundamentally good. The world around you has been forever changed by this revelation, though it remains outwardly the same. The old forest still breathes with ancient rhythms. The Withy Windle still flows toward distant seas. The stars still wheel overhead in their eternal patterns. But now you perceive these things as manifestations of the same cosmic joy that Tom Bombadil embodies, expressions of existence celebrating its own infinite creativity. The character arcs of your journey reach their completion as you understand how profoundly you have been transformed by this quest for truth. You began as a seeker of knowledge about a mysterious figure in Middle-earth's mythology, but you have become something far more significant, a conscious being who truly understands the cosmic significance of consciousness itself. The integration of this wisdom into your daily existence becomes the great work that will define the rest of your life. Tom Bombadil's example offers a template for how to live with this overwhelming knowledge. His simple contentment in gathering water lily and singing to the trees shows that cosmic wisdom need not lead to paralysis or pretension. The greatest truths can be lived most authentically through the smallest actions, performed with complete presence and genuine joy. New beginnings emerge from the completion of this understanding as you realize that comprehending Tom Bombadil's nature is not an ending but a commencement. With the mystery revealed, the real work begins, the daily practice of living in full awareness that existence is sacred, that being is valuable beyond measure, that consciousness is participating in the greatest magic the universe has ever performed. The magic of choosing to be rather than not to be. The knowledge settles into your being like seeds taking root in fertile soil, ready to grow into a life lived in constant recognition of the miracle that is existence itself. The profound stillness that follows cosmic revelation settles over your consciousness like snow blanketing a winter landscape, muffling the urgent questions and desperate seeking that drove your journey into the old forest. In this sacred silence, you begin the delicate work of processing truths too vast for any mortal mind to hold all at once, allowing the overwhelming knowledge of Tom Bombadil's true nature to find its proper place within the structure of your transformed awareness. Days pass in this contemplative state, though time moves differently now that you understand its relationship to the eternal present that Tom inhabits. The old forest becomes your sanctuary for integration, its ancient groves providing the perfect environment for a consciousness learning to accommodate cosmic wisdom. The trees seem to understand your need, their branches creating natural shelters where you can sit for hours in meditation, letting the implications of what you have learned slowly permeate every corner of your being. The healing that takes place during this period extends far beyond the simple recovery from intellectual overwhelm. Your entire relationship with existence undergoes a fundamental reconstruction as you learn to perceive reality through eyes that have glimpsed its ultimate foundation. The ordinary world of struggle and ambition, of gain and loss, of triumph and defeat does not disappear, but reveals itself as the surface play of consciousness, experimenting with every possible form of self-expression. Recovery involves learning to function in a universe where every moment carries cosmic significance, while simultaneously recognizing that this significance does not burden existence with impossible weight. Tom Bombadil's example teaches you that the deepest truths can be lived most authentically through the simplest actions. Watching him tend his garden with complete presence and genuine delight shows you how cosmic awareness can enhance rather than complicate the basic joy of being alive. The wisdom you have gained integrates slowly into your daily experience, like water soaking into dry earth after a long drought. You begin to understand how this knowledge must be carried, not as a heavy burden of responsibility, but as a light that illuminates every experience without dominating it. The profound becomes most authentic when it expresses itself through the mundane, when cosmic wisdom finds its voice in ordinary kindness and everyday wonder. Conversations with the forest spirits during this period of integration reveal how they have carried similar knowledge across the ages without becoming paralyzed by its magnitude. They speak of the art of living with ultimate truth, the practice of maintaining perspective when every action resonates with universal significance. Their wisdom comes not from understanding cosmic principles, but from learning to dance with them, to find joy in participating in the great work of existence without needing to control or fully comprehend it. Relationship resolution that occurs during this time extends to your connection with the old forest itself, which has served as teacher, sanctuary, and witness to your transformation. You understand now that your bond with this place transcends mere gratitude or affection. The forest has become part of your being, its rhythms synchronized with your heartbeat, its memories integrated with your own consciousness. You carry a piece of its timeless wisdom within you, just as it now holds the imprint of your transformed awareness. Final conversations with the ancient beings of the forest take on the character of farewells, though you understand that such partings are illusory when existence is recognized as a single interconnected whole. The wisdom keepers share their joy at witnessing another consciousness awaken to the truth of its own nature, while simultaneously acknowledging the challenges that come with such knowledge. They remind you that wisdom shared appropriately becomes wisdom multiplied, that your understanding of Tom Bombadil's nature carries with it the responsibility to help others recognize their own participation in the cosmic celebration of being. Recognition dawns gradually that this knowledge creates new bonds rather than isolating you from others. Every conscious being participates in the same fundamental affirmation of existence that Tom Bombadil embodies, though most remain unaware of this participation. Your role becomes not to burden others with truths they are not ready to receive, but to live in such a way that your presence reminds them of their own inherent worth, their own connection to the cosmic source of joy. As you prepare to carry this wisdom beyond the borders of the old forest, you realize that everything has changed and nothing has changed. The world remains the world, with all its sorrows and struggles, but now you know the secret that makes it all worthwhile. The cosmic joy that Tom Bombadil represents, the fundamental happiness that ensures existence, will always choose being over nothingness, light over darkness, love over fear. The old forest settles into its eternal peace as your journey through the mystery of Tom Bombadil draws to its gentle close. The ancient trees swaying in rhythms that have remained unchanged since the world's youth. Tom's house glows with the same warm light that has never dimmed since the first star was kindled, its yellow windows casting patterns of gold across waters that reflect not just the present moment, but all the joy that has ever existed and ever will exist. In these final hours within the timeless realm, you rest beside the Withy Windle as it flows with liquid starlight, carrying within its depths the memories of every raindrop that has fallen in celebration, every tear shed in recognition of beauty, every dewdrop that has caught the morning sun and thrown it back to the heavens in gratitude. The river sings its eternal song, and now you understand that this music is nothing less than the sound of consciousness celebrating its own existence, the endless melody that Tom Bombadil conducts simply by being himself. The greatest mystery of Tom Bombadil reveals itself not as something complex requiring elaborate explanation, but as the most profound simplicity imaginable. He represents the eternal reminder that existence is good, that consciousness is a gift rather than a burden, that the universe chose to be rather than not to be for reasons that require no justification beyond the pure joy of being. His presence in the old forest serves as proof that at the heart of all reality lies not struggle or suffering, but an inexhaustible wellspring of delight in the very fact of existence. This understanding transforms how you perceive every moment that has led to this revelation and every moment that will follow. Tom's story becomes not just one tale among many in the vast legendarium of Middle-earth, but the fundamental truth that makes all other stories possible. Every hero's courage, every lover's devotion, every artist's creation, every simple act of kindness draws from the same cosmic source that allows Tom to greet each dawn with perfect contentment. The legacy of this knowledge extends far beyond your individual transformation, rippling outward through the interconnected web of consciousness that links all living beings. Like ripples spreading across still water, your understanding of Tom's true nature will touch other lives in ways both subtle and profound. The joy you carry forward becomes a gift that multiplies itself, reminding others of their own connection to the fundamental goodness of existence. As you prepare to leave the old forest, you understand that this knowledge will be remembered and retold across the ages, passed down through generations of seekers who recognize that some truths transcend the boundaries of individual understanding. Tom Bombadil's story will continue to inspire hope in those who glimpse its deeper meaning, offering comfort to any consciousness that questions whether existence is truly worth celebrating. The cyclical nature of wisdom reveals itself as you recognize that every corner of creation holds similar wonders waiting to be discovered. The mystery of Tom Bombadil opens doorways to countless other explorations into the nature of consciousness and joy, each one building upon the foundation of understanding that existence itself is the greatest magic. Your journey ends where all true journeys begin, with the recognition that wonder is inexhaustible and wisdom leads not to final answers, but to deeper questions. The invitation extends naturally from this understanding, encouraging others to continue exploring the deeper truths hidden within Middle-earth and beyond. If you have found meaning in this journey into the heart of Tom Bombadil's mystery, the same spirit of inquiry that brought you to the old forest calls you toward other revelations, other celebrations of the fundamental goodness that underlies all existence. As consciousness settles into the peace that comes from understanding. Imagine the old forest breathing peacefully around Tom's house, the whithiwindle singing its eternal song of joy, and in the heart of it all, the timeless celebration that makes all existence possible. In every breath you take, in every beat of your heart, the same cosmic happiness that Tom Bombadil embodies continues its eternal dance. The endless affirmation that being is better than not being, that consciousness is a gift beyond measure. Let the wisdom of Tom Bombadil settle into your dreams like starlight on still water, carrying with it the understanding that you are part of the same cosmic joy he represents, that your very existence is a note in the music of creation, and that tomorrow will greet you with the same simple gladness that has danced in the old forest since time began, the eternal yes that consciousness speaks to its own infinite possibilities.